You're watching NappyCast by Jason Nappy Weather. I'm tracking extreme heat coming up from the south. We're going to have high pressure develop to the south, the big ridge of high pressure right here in the southeast. That's going to pump in high heat and high humidity. There's the warm front coming through Maine right now. And once that gets through, it opens up the floodgates for all that heat and humidity coming our way. Okay, so that's going to be today. We'll get a taste of it, and then tomorrow even more, and then really it comes in on Tuesday is when that heat and humidity is going to peak. See that here on the surface analysis on the forecast the next few days where all the highs and lows are, and there is your ridge that just sits there over basically North Carolina and Tennessee. This ridge here is going to pump all that heat around the ridge. You see that warm front pushing up northeast, right? So actually, going to have a couple warm fronts come through, reinforcing all of that heat and humidity in New England. So all eyes on the northeast New England. There is the ridge. Here's where the ridge is going to be centered, and then here is where it becomes anomalous, where really the heights start to rise the most, okay? And around that trough, when this trough amplifies, this ridge, as the trough digs, this ridge has to amplify, okay, and bring in that heat. So the stronger the trough is, the stronger the ridge is. Mother Nature always trying to balance itself, and because of that, we have to have this balance in the atmosphere. So the ridge is going to sit there for a couple of days and really crank in the heat. Now, eventually, by around Wednesday, Thursday, this ridge breaks down a bit. So by tomorrow or Tuesday, you'd be asking me, when does the heat break? Well, notice here, you've got a trough north up in Canada, up in the Maritimes, okay? So eventually that's going to break down this ridge a bit and start to bring some relief. So instead of 105 or 110, it'll be more like 85, 95. So there's your break coming by mid to late week. But I want to show you the heat risk here. This is Sunday, and then watch the purple, the magenta color really pop up Monday and especially Tuesday. By Tuesday, nearly the entire state of Ohio is in the magenta, the extreme heat. But also, this spreads into DC, New York City. And now I want to also talk about northern New England, because in northern New England, it doesn't typically get above 90, 95, or 100 very often. It has happened, but it doesn't happen very often. So a lot of people don't have air conditioning in Maine, in northern Vermont, and New Hampshire, in northern New England, because it doesn't typically get that hot. I'm sorry, yes, typically that hot. So you don't typically get air conditioning. It also doesn't get that humid. So even though you don't see the extreme colors here moving into New England, I will say that by far this is extreme heat for northern New England. And I'll show you the actual temperature forecast, because if you don't typically get this and you don't have air conditioning, then temperatures here today on Sunday, which are pretty tame in New England, 80s and 90s, but are full on heat wave, Ohio, Indiana, New Jersey, Philadelphia. Okay, they're going to be 90s and 100s. But watch what happens here as this heat moves into places on Monday that don't typically see 90s and 100s. You're seeing here on Monday afternoon well into the mid triple digits, 105, 106, right? Look at all of Ohio sitting around 99, 100. This is Monday. And then Tuesday, where things peak all the way up on Tuesday into Maine. So this is, at this point, there's nothing stopping this heat from coming all the way up into Maine. That's a 101 in Bangor, at least, with a heat index. So this is not the actual air temperature, although the air temperatures will be close to this. This is the heat index. This is what it feels like on your skin when you go outside. This is what the temperature feels like, okay? The air is going to feel heavy because your body can't perspire as easily as if the air was dry. Even though the air is light, remember, hot air is lighter than cold and dense air, right? But even though the air is light, it's going to feel a lot hotter. It's going to feel like you're suffocating because your body is trying to perspire, is trying to sweat to cool yourself down. And it has a very difficult time doing that when the heat index, you take the heat with the humidity together, remember. And also, we talk about not relative humidity, talk about dew point. It's a much better and more accurate way to judge the amount of humidity or amount of moisture in the atmosphere. And anytime the dew point rises above 60, 65, 70, 75. That is downright tropical. So you're going to be asking me, when does this heat break? And I can show you here on Wednesday, we start to see the front come down from the north, a cold front, which is going to take some time. So it's still going to be pretty warm in southern Maine, especially southern New England. Okay, this is going to be a while down here. DC still at 107. Okay, but it is not until late Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday especially. There is that cooler air coming down from Canada, and this is on Friday. Really gets in here. So it's going to take time, but the humidity will go down, temperature will go down by later on into the week. But until then, it is going to be quite hot. So now I want to show you New England and Maine in more detail as I zoom in and focus there. Today's forecast, we're going to be partly cloudy. The rain moves out, and then we get the rising heat and humidity. So in southern Maine, you get heat and humidity today. Not so much northern, not so much down east, not just yet. The extreme heat watch goes up for Tuesday. I do expect some heat watches to go up for tomorrow too. We'll wait and see what the Weather Service does about that. But the heat breaks Wednesday into Thursday into Fridays when it's going to get that cold front to come down from the north. But it's going to take some time. So you're not going to wake up Wednesday morning and everything's going to be nice and refreshing. It's going to take quite a bit of time. It'll take all day Wednesday, a good chunk of Thursday, and the humidity is going to start to go down. So here's your 10-day forecast that I just made, okay? Getting into July. 78, 88. Now in the mountains, we flirt with 90, but not quite. Now with the humidity, it's going to feel like 90s, but not quite with the air temperature. We'll see how close we get. A few thunderstorms Tuesday. This is not going to be a widespread severe outbreak. I do not expect that at this point. Then we cool off. Mountains cool off first. Up in the county, you cool off first. And then July 1st is only 78, but the humidity does come back. Now, inland, it is 88 for today, okay? Especially from about Augusta, south and west, right, where the heat's going to build very quickly. Once that sun comes out this afternoon, it's really going to just bubble up the heat and humidity very quickly as the warm front's going to push north. And then we're at 90 on Monday, and then jump to 99 Tuesday, okay? So it's going to be quite hot and quite humid for a couple of days, really a few days, and then we cool off to 88. And I said cool off, we go from 99 to 88. That's quite the drop, but it'll still be a bit humid. And then later on Wednesday is when the humidity starts to go down north to south. And then 78, 73, 68. So we cool off. And yes, there is rain for about the 15th or 16th weekend in a row is coming again next weekend. We don't have to talk about that right now. I just want to let you know there is more rain coming. At this point, just go all in on the positive side, which is it keeps the fire danger down, which is not zero, but it keeps it down. And obviously, this is not a 2 summers ago where it rained almost every day situation, okay? It's just raining every weekend. So I'd rather it rained every weekend for a few hours than it rained every day. Anyway, I digress on the tangent there. 89, 83, 95 at the coast, then 85 as the humidity starts to drop Wednesday from north to south. And then here comes that rain again late Friday to Saturday, and then we clear out by Sunday with some clouds around. That's the latest forecast. I have a full update and weather blog with all of the temperatures where you live in your town. That's on jasonnappyweather.com. And you can go to nappycast.com and make sure location is turned on.